This is the Sheriff's Office is requesting approval for 6 members of the Honor Guard to travel to Washington, D.C. To honor the fallen officers not only in Texas but across the nation. The request includes payment of the trip using the Sheriff's Office training fund.
This is the actual public record, and the sheriff says that he wants to use training funds to pay for a little getaway for 6 members of the posse. Keep that in mind.
If approved, the Sheriff's Office will get the exact cost of travel and include accommodations, mileage, airfare. 6 is in this approval now. I think that's 4 Honor Guard and the Sheriff and Chief Deputy.
This is the letter that they were required by law to furnish in response to a Public Information Act request. Now, this letter says 6 members of the Honor Guard. Now, the county judge says it's 4 members of the Honor Guard and the Sheriff and the Chief Deputy. I guess the next Public Information Act request will have to cover whether or not Rissa Shaw was an honorary deputy and when she became an honorary member of the Honor Guard.
They come from the training, your training budget.
Yeah, it's budgeted. It's budgeted, but
that's my question.
Hey, maybe it's just me, but I'm thinking that if you have a supervisor who gets caught on tape lying to the Waco police officers, and then you promote him, and another supervisor who was promoted by the sheriff is indicted for misappropriation of sensitive information, perhaps some ethics training, or the money would be better spent on ethics training than a little party trip to Washington, D.C.
You mean in your budget, in your general fund budget, a line item for professional development? Okay, I have a problem with that. I don't mind if the court decides to pay for it, but where things are charged has to be consistent with the nature of the budget. So that's not training, and so it would be charged to other services and charges. You could do a budget amendment.
But all this money is the sheriff's personal little slush fund to do with as he please, right? What the county auditor is trying to point out here is if it's budgeted to do one thing and you spend the money on a little weekend getaway, that's misappropriation of funds. From
that line item to the other. But just like you can't say, well, we're out of electricity, we're out of the utilities budget, so let's charge it to, gasoline. No, it has to be consistent with the purpose of the line item. So that's my
education in it.
Yeah, it's not really.
It's not and education. So that
sometimes we have a travel, but it's for the purpose of the continuing education requirements, or maybe not requirements, but continuing education related to the job description. Well, all of y'all have continuing education requirements, and sometimes you might have continuing education for your staff. It's not required by law, but it's necessary for the job. So that's the purpose of that line item. But you could bring a budget amendment to move from that line item to travel. Well, to other services and charges. It's just other charges.
Bring an amendment back, and if everybody's good with that,
but you can go ahead and address whether or not the item is approved. We'll follow through with the budget amendment. Yeah.
It's the sheriff's budget, and that's what he wants to use his training money for. I'd say if he brings the amendment back.
Yeah, I'll bring a budget amendment. Yeah. If you approve it, but I think I just wanted to pull that part out and say where it's charged needs to be consistent with.
Yeah, I understand.
Classification of charges. So I believe we looked at a copy of the program, and I'm not saying I'm the arbitrator of what is or not. It just didn't. The reason I responded that way, it did not look like a training event. It looked like
you're the auditor, so
participation.
you can call that shot. So I think if the court agrees that they want the sheriff's department to take part in this, then we'll work out the details about where the money comes from. Okay.
Right. All I want to remind the court is that by approving an expenditure, you're declaring that it has a county purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
vacancy. This will be May the 12th through the 16th.
Fallen Officer Memorial.
That will also be in May. I don't have the exact date right off the top of my head, but that will be coming up probably the week afterwards.
So according to the chief deputy, there's going to be an event honoring fallen officers in Waco, just like there is in D.C., less than a week later.